phone's doing strange things already. It is Christmas Day, and I've decided to come into the workshop to do you a quick live stream to say Merry Christmas, to wish all the viewers, all the supporters around the world of the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel, thank you. Thank you very much. Without you, the viewers, the channel wouldn't exist. My dream of having a successful YouTube channel just would have popped. Poof, gone. Anyway, I have cider. So, to Simon Roll and everybody else that drinks cider around the world, this one, Rochdale's, not bad. It's got lots of sugar in there. Prefer me Strongbow, to be fair. Right, here we go. On Thornton's. Thornton's cider's good. Now, there's a story behind this tankard that I'm pouring my cider into. It's only a short story, but it means a lot to me, this tankard. We've got two. They're both different, and Mum will recognise this if you're watching this, Mum. These were given to my dad on his 21st birthday, a long time ago. And this one is actually engraved. So let me read it out. I should have read it out before I poured the cider in, shouldn't I? So this one is to Robin, who was my dad, Robin. And it says, on his 21st birthday, from Pete and Penny. So I imagine that Pete and Penny may not be on this planet anymore, but if you are, it's still in use and still being well looked after. And I've drunk many, 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 many pints of cider from this, as has Ben, as has me dad. So it's done very well. Anyway, cheers. Merry Christmas. Oh, that's good. That's good. Right. Let me get logged in and we'll see who's in the workshop. Like I said, this is only going to be a short live stream because I know you're all busy. And to be fair, you probably haven't quite got the attention span for a normal live stream. I know I haven't. I'll let you know what we've been doing. Oh, geez, there we go. Turn that down. Who's that guy? Okay, we have Andrew Matila. 1918. Wow. That's a long time ago. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas, Andrew, and welcome to the workshop, mate. Thanks for joining us. Simon Rawle, Merry Christmas from the UK. Simon, by the way, it's 5 a.m. in the UK. Simon, I wasn't sure if you were going to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. I think I would struggle to do that, to be fair. But thank you very much for joining us. I do appreciate it. And to you, sir, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas indeed. It's been, you know, you've been around for a long time on this channel and one of our very long-standing viewers and supporters. And you also look after the comments for me as well. What do you call it? Adjudicated kind of monitoring person? I forget what it's called. But anyway, you are one of those, and I really, really appreciate it because otherwise things slip through the net. Makey Brito 9558. Merry Christmas with a Christmas tree and a snowman. Can't do better than that, can you? Wait, you could have had a Father Christmas and a sledge as well, but that's probably pushing it too far. And I don't even know if those emojis exist on here. Honestly, I'm not a computer guy. Oh, we're going to talk about computers as well in a minute. We are. Okay, so what's been happening? Well, it's been the wind down at work. Everybody else has been on annual leave and gone off to do their own thing. And, well, I knew it was coming, right? Because I took a whole month off work, sort of, what was it, back end of September to the back end of October, 22nd of September for 4 and a bit weeks. Lucky me, did really well. Nearly built a full deck. Not quite finished yet. That's, you know, in a few days' time we'll do that. Just enjoying the time off. But I had to work right until the last, well, in actual fact, everybody officially, the office closed at noon Christmas Eve yesterday, right? There was Andy at 3:13 in the afternoon, still doing emails and still working. I know, I'm an idiot, right? But things had to get done. I had no choice. And to be fair, it's give and take, right? You know, some days I might have to pop off and go and pick something up for half an hour, you know. So it's a balance. You just got to work it like that. Nobody's clocking in and clocking out on my job. it's a life. It really is. And you've seen that with the channel. Ever since I started working for my current employer, geez, I nearly said it. There's a lot less time available in the workshop, and it's detrimental to the channel, and I really don't like it. But one day it'll change, and I do keep making videos on that brand, but they don't go on well. They're on the channel, but they're all hidden away. Nobody can see them until I retire, and when I retire, boom, you'll see lots and lots of extra videos. One of them I made recently, actually. A pretty cool video, I may say. Wade Mayer, 44. Now, there's all these numbers now after everybody's names. It's crazy. Good evening, Andy and crew. 11p yesterday here. Huh? What does that mean? 11p yesterday here. I don't know. No comprendo. Oh, hang on. Working on an 18 horsepower overhead cam in the garage, waiting for old Saint Nick. You can't beat being in the workshop over Christmas. In England, I enjoyed it because it was nice and cold. Here, it's not too bad. Now we've got the second roof over the workshop. Outside, it's a lot hotter. In the workshop, it's actually distinctly cooler. I reckon about 5 degrees cooler. So that was a bit of a win, wasn't it? And it doesn't cost anything. Right, who else have we got? Simon Raw making a bacon, butty, and coffee. Well, Simon, we had bacon and egg sandwiches for lunch. And today, we've got Benjamin down with us, and Ben might come in and join us, I don't know. Actually, they're outside playing Rumio on the deck. It's pretty cool, isn't it? This morning, I woke up and I was instructed that I was going to go on a mountain bike ride. I know. They do this to me now and again. And I can explain to Ben, right? You know, we first designed as a race, right? We designed. It wasn't even a bicycle, right? It was a push along thing with 2 wheels. It had no pedals, and you just paddled it along with your legs. And then some bright spark goes, hey, I know what we'll do. We'll put a chain of sprockets on there and a couple of pedals, a couple of cranks, and then you can pedal it. Woohoo! We can go super fast now. That'd be great. And that bicycle thing evolved over, 100 years, maybe more, ages, a long time, right? Long time. And they refined it, and you can buy some pretty cool bicycles now. And not too long ago, somebody decided, you know what? We could put an electric motor on. Well, in fact, we could put a petrol engine on there. Great. So they did. And it went really fast. And then it evolved into a motorcycle. Even better, right? No need to pedal anymore. Just jump on it, twist up on the throttle, and whoosh, off you go. You know, fast as you want, basically. And then recently, somebody's gone, ooh, you know what we could do? We could put an electric motor on a bicycle. And you've still got to pedal it. And everybody thinks it's a fantastic idea. But we've already got motorbikes. The thing's already evolved. It's like going back to steam power in your car. It's a bit of a step backwards, in my opinion. Oh, I've only had half a drink. Honestly, what's going on? So anyway, I got dragged out in Funbus Mark II with Mrs. Mechanic and Ben to the middle of frigging nowhere. It took about an hour to get there. Sun's beating down. The aircon of the truck doesn't work. We just got the windows down and the flies are coming in and going back out. A wasp nearly came in. I'm sat in the back trying to, just get some kit because I was knackered. And then we turn up in this bloody field. We'd been going down these farm tracks for God knows how long. Unload the bikes. And I'm like, well, okay, this is fine. I'm happy to it's Christmas, right? You do the family stuff. Where are we going? How far is it? Wouldn't tell me shit. Wouldn't tell me anything, they wouldn't. This is right, you're on this one, okay. Smallest saddle possible. They've all got big, comfy, fat saddles, and I've got this bloody racing bike saddle on mine. I'm like, that's not going to be very comfy, is it? Stop whinging, he said. So anyway, we set off. And I mean, the pedaling's pretty easy, right? The bikes, they go well. Don't get me wrong, they go well, but you've still got to pedal. I mean, the ultimate farm bike would have been way, way better on those trails than a stupid e-bike, and I'd have probably enjoyed it more. And I'm looking at it now, the size of the seat is about 100 times bigger than the one on this e-bike that I was given. Anyway, we blast down there, And I'm thinking, well, just pedal the shit, Andy. Just go for gold. You know, it makes it more exciting. Go as fast as you can. Keep on trucking. Get to the end. Job done. Right? Yeah. And it ended up being about 14 and a half kilometers. Not a lot, you say, on an e-bike. Probably not. But this was as twisty could be, right? Downs and ups and lots of hairpin bends. And oh, man. I had a few near death experiences on that run because I was going a bit quick. Ben was keeping up because he's fast. I'm not a cyclist at all, you know, but I can put a bit of power behind it now and again. And with an e-bike, and I was on full power, right? I was on full assist. Why not? Let's use the battery up. It's there anyway. We got to the end, and Mrs. Mechanic goes, "Oh, it's lunchtime. Let's have some lunch under this little canopy where they've got the maps of where else you can go." Okay, I can eat. Eat's good. Have a drink. And then, you know, we do that, and I'm looking around and like, well, you know, who's going to go and get the car? Oh, no. No, we're cycling back. No chance. My ass is red raw at this point. Not a chance. I mean, I could have cycled it. Don't get me wrong. I had enough energy to do it, and there was plenty of battery left in the battery. Power left in the battery. But the thought of cycling back up those switchbacks, and most of it was uphill going back. It was definitely more of a downhill going to this, you know, the first time round. Nah. I'm looking at the map going, oh, I can get on the main road there. And it's not too far. And I turn right and then I go in on the road that we came in the car. I'll do that. So I did. I says, right, you two, you keen people, you blast back. Shows what you're made of. And I'll just take the easy route back. And I can probably pedal on one buttock rather than sat in the middle because it was hurting. It was really hurting. Anyway. So I got back to the car, right? Bearing in mind, it had taken us about an hour and a half. That's how twisty it was, right? And I wasn't going slow. About an hour and a half to do those 15Ks, right? I mean, like, Christ, I've run 10 kilometers years ago, not now, right? I've run 10 kilometers in an hour and 17 seconds. So yeah, an hour and 17 seconds was my yes, and an hour and 17 minutes was 12 kilometers. Not bad, I thought, for a gentleman of my size. Anyway, that was a while ago. Anyway, it took me 28 minutes to get back to the car, going the normal way with using roads. And they took another 37 minutes to get back to the car. So they did pretty well. They did it quicker without me, and it was more uphill. But it's weird because we were, you know, I wasn't the slowest. Just saying. Anyway, that's why I'm a bit sore. You won't know that, but I am. It's just like, ow, hurts to sit down and things. Anyway, so that's what we're doing today. And then we got back and obviously needed a shower because, you know, sweat and everything. And here we are, live stream. You know, I could have done the live stream in the morning, but I thought, let's get the mountain biking stuff out of the way first. Give you a little story. Now, the bike that Ben was riding, this is going somewhere, right? The bike that Ben was riding was a normal bicycle this time last week. It was just a frame, actually. It wasn't even a bicycle, just a frame. And he went off into his little shed next door with this frame. And he says, I'm going to make an e-bike. And I'm like, yeah, right, of course you are. Yeah. And I was expecting this, you know, Frankenstein machine that often Ben's engineering produces. No disrespect to Ben, he does a great job, but he does things in a very different way to how I do things. Maybe I overthink stuff. Anyway, I've got some photos of the bike that he rode, and that bike, that was its first ride out, and it did absolutely brilliantly, right? And the best thing is, it's not a normal e-bike. No, it's not. It's got 2 batteries, not 1. It's pretty damn cool. Anyway, I've got some photos. I will show you the pictures, and you can tell me what you think. All right, so just bear with me. I'm going to turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. We're very careful because the workshop is full of bicycles, of motorbikes. But I'll take you off the stand. Hang on. Here we go. Look. So there we go. This is Benjamin's homemade e-bike. It's pretty cool, right? This is the basically he's cut the down tube and he's installed a bracket down here to take the motor. So it's all pretty standard to an e-bike. And then you've got the seat tube going up and stuff. That's all still original. And this, you'll see in a few in the picture later on, this holds one battery on this side and another battery on the other side. And he bought a kit from Shimano. So it came with the motor, came with the battery, and it came with a little controller. You can just look at that picture there. Look, you can see the controller up there that goes on the handlebars. And it worked absolutely faultlessly. It really did. Right, we've got any more pictures? We have. Here we go. Right, next one. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Hang on, turn you around. Oh, God, it has, hasn't it? It's just no idea what's going on. Anyway, we're back on. There we are. We're working now. Right. So you can see the width of this thing up here. It's pretty big, right? So it holds a battery this side, a battery that side. It came with all the wiring and everything. And it took him like a day. It was done in a day. It was absolutely incredible. Very, very impressed indeed. And even the welds, look at that. He's done a great job on there. Really, really good. And that was with a gasless MIG, which is even harder to weld with. But he seems to have got it sussed, and that's the other battery there. The one side is a spare battery, so that's why he's got a little clip on there, and then you just take it out and pop it in the side that's got the receiver bit for the battery, so it connects to the wiring. But really, really impressed. Top lad. And again, faultless. It just worked out of the box. There was no like teething problems or anything like that. So good job, Ben. I'll give you a shout out on that because I was very, very impressed. And he did that in one day. Very cool. Right, turn you around. Sorry about the minor interruption on the live stream there. We had a notification come through and it said turn me off, turn off the notification. So I did, and it dropped the live stream out. God damn it. Okay, let me just log back into bring the live stream back up. There we go. That's better. Okay, so what are we? Oh my word. Right, making bacon, butter, and coffee. Nice. Thank you, Simon. Envious. Wade Mayer, it's still the 24th here. It is. We are in the future here in New Zealand. It's coming up to tea time. Christmas dinner. Mrs. Mechanic's cooking a monster meal for us all, which will be nice. Not that we really need it, to be fair. Anyway, it'll be good. It's weird having Christmas in New Zealand because it's so frigging hot. It's totally different to being in the UK. In England, you look forward to a nice hearty meal because you're freezing cold. You've been out in the snow, playing on the quad bikes and stuff, doing whatever, and then you come in and have your Christmas dinner. Here, it's just frigging hot. It really is. I mean, it's not as hot as it has been some years, but it's still pretty hot at the moment. I have no idea what. In fact, I'll tell you what the temperature is. Not in the workshop. I'll tell you what the temperature is. So weather. Let's have a look. So at the moment, outside, it's going to work. It is 20 degrees. It isn't that hot. It has been hot. It won't tell me what it was earlier in the day, but it was probably about 26 earlier on today when we were cycling. Great. If I was in England, you just wouldn't go cycling in 26 degrees heat. You just wouldn't do it. It'd be stupid. Wade Mayer. I've been on YouTube since 2011, and some child was able to nick my no number handle in June of this year. There's a lot of that going on. I lost Instagram. They hacked my Instagram. They hacked my Andy Mechanic email, and they hacked my Facebook. I managed to get my emails back, and I managed to get my Facebook back, but Instagram, no chance. Didn't want to know. I had to do a new one. And I checked today, actually, and the old profile has actually gone now. They've taken it down because some guy was making money out of Bitcoin and things. It was, I don't know, ridiculous what was going on. That may be the push I need to finally start my own channel about data centers. Honestly, share if you've got good knowledge to share it, because people are interested, and it's very helpful as well. Simon, many years ago, when I first seen you on YouTube, was not really instated. It was the MR2 videos that got me hooked. That was a good series. I really enjoyed doing the MR2 because the outcome was something which I really didn't expect. And as each video went out, it was really interesting to read the comments. And I was asking for people's help. You know, what did you think the fault could be? And it was surprising to me, some of those comments. You know, oh, just change this and change that. It'll be this. Shoot from the hip, fire the parts cannon. But, you know, it was important to follow the diagnostic process to the end. And how lucky we were that there was a chap in the UK that happened to have a used, good ECU for that model car that was the same part number. I couldn't believe it. He'd watch the video and he'd go, well, I've got one of those in my shed. I'll send it to you, Andy. And he did, and we fitted it. And at the same time, Pico sent me the automotive scope, which I had down in Wanaka last week. I was down there. I went down on Monday. And Pico went, hey, you know, have an automotive scope because it's better than what you've got. And that was very nice of them. So thank you, Pico. I really appreciate it. So no, Simon, I'm very, very pleased that you are around, sir. And I know some of the videos recently haven't had the same level of content, and that's something which I'm reviewing at the moment. It's just, I find it very difficult at the moment with the constraints of work to have that kind of project going on. Plus, none of our cars have failed at the moment. They're all doing pretty well. We have got Ben's patrol project sort of bumbling on in the background. I've got to get that engine stand finished. Hopefully I'll get it done over Christmas. You'll know because you'll see a video. And then we can get the Fun Bus engine on the stand and we can start pulling that engine down. Ben wants to do a full rebuild. So that'd be interesting to do that. I've not rebuilt one of those engines. I've done the 3.3 straight 6 diesel. Rebuilt one of those. The crank snapped in one of those. I broke a crank in one. I was giving it the beans and it didn't like it. That was many years ago. And I had the chassis to weld up. One of the chassis rails, I was driving back from Windermere and the right hand, I think it was the right hand chassis rail. Yeah, right hand chassis rail was rotten. Turned out the vehicle was a ringer, right? That means that it was potentially stolen. I didn't know. And it had the chassis on of a much older vehicle to the shell. But it had the number plate that went with the shell. So the chassis was actually, it was many years older, and it had rotted out. So I had to just basically cut it all out in sections and then plate it all up with 3 mil plate. And it was mint after that. It's a good truck, but it was a lot of work. Took the body off to do it all. Did a body lift at the same time and put some big springs on it and stuff. It was cool. But it lacked a bit of power, to be fair. It wasn't like the 4.2s. Simon, is that Ali or steel? The bike frame. The bike frame is steel. Ben particularly chose that because he's not set up for welding alley. So he chose a steel frame. It's only a 2022 frame. It's not that old. It looks an old school bike, but the frame actually is pretty new. In fact, it was brand new when he started. He cut a brand new frame up. It had never been built into a bicycle. I don't know the history behind it. Ben could maybe tell you that. Oh, Kevin's here. Hey, Machine NZ. Hey, Andy. Merry Christmas to you and Mrs. Mechanic and Ben also. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, matey. That's what this video is all about. It's just to say Merry Christmas, spend a little bit of time together, have a bit of a natter, drink a cider. Cheers, Simon. And then drift through into the new year, basically. I'm not going to do a New Year's live stream. That would be, you know, a bit too much, to be fair. But I thought, a Christmas one. Let's do a Christmas one. The one thing I miss, and if Keith's watching this from New Level Auto, and Keith does drop in every now and again. A few years ago, we used to, most of the automotive channels, we had Ivan, Keith, Erico, and loads of others, probably about 30 different channels it was at the peak. We all used to do a little Christmas message. They'd all get uploaded to a Google Drive, and then Keith would bolt them all together and then send the finished video with all the, you know, all the little snips in it to each creator. We would all upload them to our channel, and then we'd launch them, you know, Christmas Eve at a certain time. They set a time and then it would go out. And that was brilliant. I really enjoyed doing that, but it doesn't happen anymore. It hasn't happened for a few years. It might have been COVID that stopped it from happening. I just don't know why. But we should do that again next year. So Keith, if you are listening, if you're keen, let me know. I'm keen. I'm sure Erico and Ivan and a few others will be keen to do it as well. And we should redo that. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, actually. Roger Heaps 9363. You see another numbered name. Evening, Andy. Everyone in the bar watching. I imagine that they are on your massive flat screen TV in your big bar area. I'm very envious. It's actually a pretty cool area, is that? Well, Merry Christmas, Roger, and everybody else that's there. All the dogs. I'm sure you've got the dogs in there as well. Little puppies, not little anymore. There were 6 kgs last time I saw a post from you. They're probably at 8 kgs now, knowing those little dogs. That's bigger than Marmite was, right? And they're not very old. So, crazy. No, Mrs. Mechanic says we can't have one, right? It's got to be like a horse by the time it's finished. Or a donkey at least. They'll be massive. They won't fit in the house. So we've covered Ben's bicycle. We've covered what we've done today. What else did I need to talk about? I don't want to ramble on for ages. We've been going for 26 minutes already. I thought maybe half an hour for this quick hello Merry Christmas video. 8.8 kilograms is the biggest one now. Holy shit. That's bigger than I thought. That's ridiculous. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you, Roger. Very much appreciate that. We're trying to just have a nice quiet Christmas, not do too much. Ben's going tomorrow. He goes somewhere else for a few days. We'll have the rest of tomorrow off, probably watch a movie and play a few games and that kind of thing. Mrs. Mechanic likes that. And then it'll be, what will it be then? Sunday? Honestly, over Christmas, I lose track of all the days. So Christmas Eve was Wednesday, Christmas Day Thursday, Boxing Day Friday. Yes. Saturday it'll be. So I think Saturday we're going to start back on the deck. And I reckon there's 3 days left to do the rest of the deck. And then it's done. And then I've got probably 3 or 4 days before I'm back at work. So I hope to be in the workshop for at least 2 of those, making some videos. I want to really crack on with that engine stand. I can't do, I've got no bolts to go between the arms that I need to make and the engine, unless I use the bolts that are already around the back in Ben's shed. But I don't think they're the right size, not the right length to what I want to do, but we'll see. We'll see what comes up. Oh, yes, computer. So, now then, if any of you are computer people, I'm just going to bring up my emails and I'm going to read out some specs, because the problem we've had, Mrs. Mechanic was down in the South Isle not too long ago on her e-bike, Freddie, doing some trails down there, and she was using the GoPro and using a phone to do some filming, and she generated a tremendous amount of footage again, as you do when you're doing that kind of thing. And I had to buy another solid state, well, it didn't have to be solid state, but I prefer those, another external hard drive just to put everything on, because everything was full up. And I've been thinking for a while, probably the last 2 or 3 years, probably longer than that actually, because I spoke to a guy in Devonport in Auckland about a RAID drive, and I just couldn't afford it. It was like, nah, I can't afford that. That's just too much. Well, her Surface laptop, basically, when it's using PowerDirector and her videos are a bit more complicated than mine, it regularly crashes, and it really, really pisses her off. I have a similar sort of power level, processor speed, RAM, that kind of stuff, Surface laptop that I use to edit my videos while I'm away on the road. But my videos are a lot simpler, right? So I never have any problems at all with my laptop. Plus, I've got the aircon in the room, and that's helping to keep the laptop cool as well. Here we don't have any aircon, so that's probably another feature, and it happens more in the summertime than the winter, and you can tell that the fan's on full bore all the time. So I've bitten the bullet. With Ben's help, we have found some stuff. All right, now I'm going to read out to you, here we go, what we've bought. And this was not cheap. I'm going to tell you the prices as well. This is from PB Tech here in New Zealand. I've bought a lot of stuff from them over the years, but this is by far the biggest single purchase. And they give me what we call an educator's discount because some of the videos that I make are educational. They help people to understand how to fix things, and they recognise that, which is nice. And it sort of stems from when I was at Unitech as a lecturer. So a new PC, right? So we're not going to use a little crappy laptop. We're going to use a proper dedicated PC for doing the editing. And workstation 2, Mrs. Mechanic's workstation, will become the editing suite. And she's happy with that because that's what she's been doing all the time recently. She doesn't do any craft work on there. She does all that in a craft room. Anyway, a whole room for crafting. Anyway, so it's a PB Pro Creator RTX 5080 Studio PC. This is the good stuff now. Intel Core Ultra 9 space 285 space 24 cores stroke 24 threads. Now, if you're a computer guy, you know exactly what that means. I just said to Ben, "Is that good?" He went, "Yeah, it's good." So okay, that'll do me. Right, I'll have one of them. It's got 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, 2 terabyte NVMe solid state drive. It's got an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 16 gigabyte, whatever that is. Is that the graphics card? I don't know. Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth, Windows 11 Professional. Right, okay. Bit of a mouthful, but if you're a computer guy, and I think Wade, you sound like you are, then you'll understand most or all of what I've just said. To me, a lot of that doesn't mean much. Price, $4,965.67, and I think that's plus GST. I think it is plus GST. All right, so a big chunk of change. By far the most expensive PC I have ever purchased. It is designed, I believe, specifically for editing. We did look originally at gaming computers, but they're a little bit different setup, and this one is more geared up for actually editing, so that should really help. And as regards the specs, they are massive in comparison to the laptops that we use, so we should be all right. Now, at the same time, we decided to get a new monitor. Now, Mrs. Mechanic currently has her laptop screen and a single monitor. And sometimes windows open on the wrong screen and she can't move them across for whatever. I don't know why. Anyway, it's what I've been told. Okay, so I said, look, I know what we'll do, right? We will get you one of those really wide curved screens. It's basically like two monitors side by side in one screen. So the one that we chose was a Dell Ultra Sharp U4924DW 49-inch 5K 2K curved ultra wide monitor, 5120 by 1440. That must be the pixels, I reckon. IPS. Display port, two HDMI, USB-C, PD 90 watt, USB hub, 100% sRGB, 98% DCI P3, and that's about all you need to know. That was discounted down to $2,199. Again, the single most expensive screen I've ever purchased. And then we got a RAID drive, right? Because we're about to store shit. Now, the RAID drive is on a different email, so just bear with me. Oh, geez. It's not on the screen here. Oh, I know why. I was zoomed in, that's why. So let me find the original email, and I can give you that, because we had to get the RAID drive from somewhere else in the end. Where is he? This one, I think. Here we go. So the RAID drive, there's lots of RAID drives out there, and most of them are geared up for business purposes, and they're a bit more complicated to set up. But the one that Ben found was made by a company called Synology. It's called a Disk Station DS1825 8-bay NAS server. AMD Ryzen V1500B quad core 2.2 gigahertz, 8 gigabytes ECC, 32 gigabytes max, 2 times M.2 slot, 2 times 2.5 GBE, whatever that is, 1 times PCI, 3 times USB 3.2s, 2 times Type-C expansion. They're used for expansion ports, and that was another thing, right? You can buy through Synology, not a sponsor, expansion docks basically that can take another 5 hard drives each. So we've sort of future-proofed it. I couldn't afford to fill the whole thing with hard drives at the start, right? I'm not a rich man at all, and it's going to take me quite some time to pay all this off. About 18 months, I think we've worked it out to be. So the hard drives we've gone for basically are Synology drives, which you've got to buy their brand of drive to fit their RAID box thing. And we went for 12, where is it? 12 terabyte drives, 4 of. So that gives us, when it's mirrored, that'll give us 24 terabytes of storage, which is more than we've got now. It's a lot more than we've got now. So I'll be able to get everything off all the separate remote hard drives, you know, external hard drives. It'll take me ages, take me days and days and days to do it, to get all the footage. So we've got all the raw footage, we've got all the Power Director files, and then we've got all the rendered videos that you guys get to see on YouTube. Plus there's a lot of other ones that are not even on the channel yet. So I need to copy all those across. There's still some footage for videos that I have never done before. I've never edited them up, so they'll all be on there as well. We've got the ultimate farm bike trip that's not been edited yet. Mrs. Mechanic's going to crack on with that. She's still got to finish her monkey bike editing. We're not even in the South Island yet on that one. And there's a lot more workshop diaries to do. So she's got a lot of editing to do in 2026 to try and get caught up. So I thought this is the perfect time to dig into my pockets, commit myself to another chunk of change, spend some more of my children's inheritance, and pave the way for the future for basically the YouTube channel to give you more content, you know, next year. That's the plan. And I know I can't fix the fault just by spending money. I've got to make the videos as well, but this at least gives us the ability to actually save the footage. And I can make an hour-long video, you know, there's an hour long that goes out on the channel, and there can be at least 50 or 60 gigabytes of raw footage to wade through. So, you know, it takes up a lot of space. It really does. And we've never deleted anything, you know, so it's always there for the future. Anyway, for those of you that are computer people, you might understand that. I'm not entirely sure what most of that means, but, you know, it is what it is. Now then, Simon, I should have done workshop diaries. The work that went into the wife's car for MOT, you should have done, absolutely. But the engine and box are good. 2 days welding and spring arms, etc. Oh my word, welding, holy crap, she's a bit of a rust bucket, is she? Not the wife, by the way. In actual fact, your better half, gotta say that, your better half and my better half have got crafting in common. They have. Who would have thought? I think Mrs. Mechanic's going to send your wife some crafting stuff that she's made in the big box of stuff that we're going to send out early next year. And there's a shirt, by the way. There's a shirt in there, so you'll get a handy mechanic shirt, which is very rare. In actual fact, I went onto Uniform NZ's website. I followed the link off the YouTube channel, and the page is gone. You can't buy them anymore. I mean, I can still buy them. I can ring up and say I want one of these. You know, I usually buy them in 4s, and I'm close to ordering some more. But I'll ask them at the same time. Oi, where's my website page gone? So we might have to come up with a different plan for that, because I know they've sold a few over the years. So at the moment, you'd have to ring them up and say I want to buy one, because you can't just order them online anymore, which is a bit of a shame. Now then, boom, 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 boom. So Simon, yes, you should have filmed that. Ben should have filmed, and he wishes he had now, doing that e-bike, because a lot of people, you know, what he did, a lot of people are interested in doing themselves, I believe. That's what I understand. And it was really useful information how he worked it all out, where, you know, all the geometry and stuff. Because it may look simple, but it isn't that simple. You've got all your chain line to consider, all that kind of stuff. So I said, look, when you do another one, because he will do another one, knowing Ben, we need to film it. Even if he doesn't film it himself, I'll just join you for a couple of days in the workshop, and I'll do the filming. Let's get a really cool video put together of you building an e-bike from a bare frame, you know, a bicycle frame. Now then, Roger Heaps. Oh, done that one. Wade Mayer. Ran out of cider, so we're trying to keep up with rum and coke tonight. Oh, no, that's not going to end well. J Nike. Or is it J Nike or J Nike? 8715. Another number. Another year just passed with great success in your life. Happy holidays, Team Andy. Thank you very much, matey. I do appreciate it. It's been a tough year for me. I have to be honest. And this is one of the reasons why I want to do this live stream. I don't put a damper on things, right? But it's been a tough year for me. You know? My little dog died, as you all know. Marmite, she passed away. My granddad died. Ken. Turns out, and I'm sure I can say this now, when I was a kid, I was told he loads the bombs. His job, he was in the RAF, his job was to load the bombs onto the planes during World War II. Wow, I was blown away at that, right? That wasn't the whole story, was it, Mum? No. Turns out, right, that Ken, my mum's dad, granddad, was an explosives expert for the RAF. That's some serious shit, right? He was sent in to disarm bombs. And probably to lay bombs as well. To set bombs and set them off. Not set them off, but, you know, set the timers and things. And maybe even build them. He was an explosives expert. And hats off to you, Grandad. What a top bloke. I mean, you know, that... And he lived to tell the tale. He lived to 102 years old. And I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't last very long as an explosives expert. But let's put it that way. So he must have been a good one. But yeah, you know, just want to put it out there. So it's been a tough year. Oh, and a friend of mine died as well. So it's been tough. It has. I mean, next year can't be that bad, right? Next year has to be better. So let's look forward to 2026. Let's look forward to lots of new videos and all sorts of stuff that's going to happen on the channel. I've got a few plans. Can't tell you what they are. It'll be a surprise. I told you some stuff, right? DR200 Ultimate Farm Bike. By the way, Suzuki have stopped making the DR200 farm spec bike called the Trojan. Discontinued. Doesn't exist anymore. Sure, some dealers might still have some stock. That will go real quick now that the word's out. You won't be able to get them anymore. Just another example of Japanese manufacturers cutting out the small, what they see to be the small volume production, streamlining the production line, and just going for where they're making the main money. What a great little bike. I mean, it did fantastically well. So next year, I've already got the bits for it. I need to do a top end rebuild. It needs new rockers, new valves. It's leaking oil all over the place, you know, from the trip. Hasn't been touched since. I need to rewire the indicators because I stole a relay off one of Ben's bikes to do the trip because I hadn't got the right relay. So I might be changing the indicators on it, do a few bits and pieces on it. We'll do it all on camera and get it back on the road because I want to do another adventure. I want to get back out there and go exploring again because I enjoy that kind of stuff and I'm getting older. The WR that I've got, the 450F, phenomenal bike. But Ben sold his now. His was in super motard spec. I really should look to sell mine. But they're not fetching great money at the moment. I don't know why. The road registered ones do fetch a bit more, like mine is. But I don't ride it. It just sits there. It's a big bike. It still owes me a fair... Wait, it's still worth a reasonable chunk of change. Maybe I should flick that one on. Mine's only done about 3,000 Ks, 3.5, maybe 4,000 Ks from new. It's done very little work. Most of that was on one trip in the South Island. In fact, that was over 8 years ago. It was the weekend before. In fact, driving down to the South Island, I got the phone call to tell me I got the job with that manufacturer. Right? I want to, you know what the job is. So it was a very long time ago, and it hasn't been ridden since, which is an absolute catastrophe. I wanted to, believe me, I wanted to get out there on the trails and stuff, but it's the kind of bike that when you fall off, it really, really hurts. And as you get older, it hurts a lot more. And the injuries, and I have fallen off that a few times, I've torn loads of ligaments and stuff in my shoulder, my left shoulder. It still hurts. It's not as bad as it was. It's slowly getting better. But that was probably 10 years ago. I think it's time for that to go. But the little DR200, let's get it fixed up. That's a far better bike for exploring the old paper roads here in New Zealand than the WR ever will be. WR is too thirsty. It hasn't got the range. It's way too powerful, and you can get yourself into a lot of trouble really quick. And it's a lot heavier bike, so when you do fall off it, sometimes you struggle to get it back up again, depending, if you're on a side slope or something like that. It's not ideal. So there's that. I need to get rid of the Triumph. That's stagnated, so I've got to, I would say, chuck the tyres. I've got 2 new tyres for it. I'll chuck those on, and then that'll have to go back to Alan because we've stalled out. There's no parts. I haven't got the time. We've lost Stu. He's not interested in doing the gearbox anymore. So unfortunately, it's going to go back in bits, which is a bit of a shame. Sorry, Alan. Andy's rambling. You guys need to enjoy Christmas, right? And Simon's got kids waking up soon. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Simon, thanks, Andy. It's unreal how much craft stuff the better halves have, like us and tools. It is. I was saying to Mrs. Mechanic the other day, if you counted individual components, even the nuts and bolts that I've got here in stock, I'm pretty sure that she's got more individual components in her craft room than I have in all my workshops put together. It's just mental how much stuff she's got. Simon, rust bucket. Oh dear, pulled the lower part of the sills off by hand. Don't you just love that? You see, in New Zealand, right, they are so scared of rust on cars. That car here would have been scrapped years ago. And all the welding that you've done, if that car was here and you were trying to get it, through the warrant of fitness, all the welding would have to be done by a certified welder and be done to the same spec that the vehicle was built. So the thickness of the steel that you use to repair the car has to be exactly the same as the original thickness. Oh, sorry, things are a bit sore. It's very difficult, and as a result, a lot of cars just get scrapped. It's just too hard. Hence the fun bus. I think if the fun bus has still been in the UK, it would have got patched up and it would have passed the MOT and it would still be on the road. Sure, a couple of patches on the chassis, that would have been easy. The rust on the roof, it's not really classed as structural where it was, so we could have kept running it. But in New Zealand, not a chance. They really are very, very keen now. They're pushing hard to get rid of the old cars off the road, and it's such a shame. It really is. Wade Mayer, me computers guilty. Very good specs. Oh, that's nice to know. The more cores and threads and the amount of RAM sets this apart from the gaming machines. Network storage RAID is an imperative for YouTube creators. It is. Yeah, it really is. It's something that I've been wanting to get sorted out for probably the last 6 years at least, when I really started to get going and making all the videos. The storage just went out of the window. It was just so much storage. It was just unreal. Everything I have, even little sticks, they're all full up with stuff, and it needs to be sorted out. It's just so disorganized at the moment. There's just stuff everywhere. There's nearly 1,000 videos on the channel, right? So that's a lot of stuff. So I need to have a concerted effort to sort my shit out. I do. Yes, Ken was a legend. He really was. He was a top bloke. At his funeral, Mum told me a shitload of people turned up. That church was absolutely packed, and it was an RAF style funeral. And a lot of people that knew Ken from back in the day were there. You know, it wasn't just family. It was just people that he crossed lives with over the years, and you know, it was great to see a good turnout because it was a good bloke. Wade, I've been running them for 20 years, but I have a bigger network at home than most businesses. Best advice I give here is use the wired connections as much as possible. It will make a huge difference. Yeah, listen, I'm not into Wi-Fi connections and Bluetoothy stuff. I like the wire stuff too. It's a lot more stable and it seems to be a lot quicker. I mean, we've run a cable, a LAN cable from the box, right? I'm not a computer guy. From the box into the workshop, and we've got another routery thing up here that Ben chose. And now we've got really good internet in the workshop. It's perfect. It's like, I checked the internet yesterday, right? And it was operating above spec. It was 520 megabytes a second download and 517 upload. That is really good for us. The spec is only 500, so you know, well done Chorus, I think, are the suppliers of that through, and we paid Vodafone, a One New Zealand call now. So very happy, very happy. Things upload super quick, which is great. Simon, they won't be up for hours. Lucky you. Be off out with the dog soon. Well, I'm sure you'll enjoy your walk with your puppy. Doggy. I always call them puppies. Even Marmite was a puppy right until the day she left. You know, she was always, I always called her a puppy because she was small, right? You know. Anyway, we're getting close. We're getting close now, people. Still a bit of cider to go, and then we'll sign off. God, we're nearly up to an hour. What the hell, Andy? Might be nearly twice as long as I planned. So, my sincere apologies for this year on video content. I haven't put up half as many videos as I was hoping to put up. And I haven't really been on the spanners as much as I'd hoped to be on. I've done some fabrication work, which has been great. We've made stuff, which is good for me. And we've done lots of workshop stuff, workshop diaries stuff, building the side port and building Ben's shed and all that kind of stuff. But clearly it's not really what the... Ooh, dinner's nearly ready. Okay, I won't be long. We're about to sign off. And, you know, it's been great to get all that done because it's stuff that I need to get done. But it had a very detrimental effect on, you know, time in the workshop, doing workshop stuff. So 2026 is going to be quite different. We're going to put all the other projects that we've got here outside the workshop on hold. And I'm going to focus on, in the workshop, getting some of my stuff done, you know. I've got an old farm bike down there, little Suzuki, I think it's a 175 two-stroke. I've been pushing it in and out of the workshop for the last 2 years, right? It wasn't used as a farm bike. It was used as a linesman's bike. He used to ride that around the area of Invercargill, checking the power lines. That's all it was ever used for. It never got used on farm. So it's got some serious history to it. I want to get that bike. It looks terrible, right? But I want to get it fired up. Will it run? I don't know. I've got an old, it's in pretty good nick though. The newer version, the 125 two-stroke, which I have had running, but it only idles, it won't rev. So I think it needs a good carb clean and that kind of stuff, probably block jets and things. But I want to get that one fired up. I can't get that one on the road. I might be able to get the older one on the road. It's got indicators and stuff with it, so that would have been on the road originally for the linesman. So I've got stuff that I want to do next year, not stuff for other people. And, you know, we're going to put the outside stuff on hold, so that will create a lot more videos. It will. And that's just a little bit of the plan for next year. There's lots of other stuff as well. Plus, I'm still making videos on the things that I can't show you at the moment, so that in the future, you will get to see them, because some of them are really, really interesting cases that I come across. And one of them was very recent and got me baffled. Really did get me baffled, but you're going to have to wait for quite a few years before you see that one. Where do we get to? Up Fuzzle. Hi. Up Fuzzle. Hi, welcome to the workshop, mate, and Merry Christmas to you. Simon, Merry Christmas. One and all, the best for 2026. What about a go-kart project for next year? Waiting for that. It's sat right next to me. That is something that I do need to get finished. Ben's pretty much finished his pipe bender now. It's all set up. We've got the pipe. It's up there. The right pipe is up there. It's ready to go. I'm pretty sure his pipe bender will bend it, but I don't know if it'll do the tight radiuses that we need though. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? Okay, crew. I think that's my calling. Christmas dinner is ready. Simon's left the building. Cigarettes nearly all gone. I'm going to sign off. Huge Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year for all the viewers. I can't say this enough. I really appreciate your support. It is, instrumental to this channel. We're very, very close now to hitting the 100,000 subscribers. And if you want to share a video, spread the word. The most favorite videos, so Simon the MR2 videos, share them on your social media platforms. Let's try and get a few more people in, get a few more subs. And hopefully in 2026, we're going to hit that milestone. I really, really hope so. It won't stop me making videos, but it'll be really nice to get there because I've worked so hard to get to there. I really have. But my apology, by the way, as well, another apology, is the NZTA Master Record forms. I should have just done them as hidden videos and just sent people links. I thought it might be interesting to the public. It clearly isn't. It's absolutely destroyed the algorithm on the channel at the moment because hardly anybody watched them, I've got 2 more to put out. I may not even bother putting them out to the public. I'll maybe just make them unlisted and then just include and send whoever it is the playlist link. I think I'll do that. So if you don't see any more, that's the reason why. Okay, crew. One more to go. Wade Mayer. Okay. Day job clip sending out on Facebook messages. Oh, here we go. One last one before we sign off. Oh, it's downloading. I'll try and speed it up. I'll put it on Wi-Fi. Downloading. Now, couldn't download. What do you mean download? Can you see that? What is it? Are they servers? They look like servers, don't they? I wonder if my phone can rotate. Hang on. They are. Slightly better picture. I think they're servers. Play. Okay, it won't play all of it. Sorry, Wade. Right, I think there were servers. Wade will tell me. Okay, crew, thank you again. Bit of a drawn out goodbye, but really appreciate it. From me, Mrs. Mechanic, and Ben, thank you very much. And we'll see you in the new year. Cheers. Over and out.